Hi everyone, Jean here, and I have another kit that I just finished and sent out, and I wanted to kind of show you what my plans were. As always, you can change the plan and do it any way you want, use the materials for whatever you want, but I kind of had an idea. These bags were donated to us. A friend of mine got them from someone that she knows in the audiology department. So let's kind of just see what's in here. First off, this is, in my opinion, a multi-aspect project. Okay, so these are printables from Muse of the Morning, and I will try to put the link in the description as soon as I'm done. This is for a small zine. You know, it's got the fold lines and the cut lines and how to make it right here. Just a little book you can make to have and carry with your slow stitch. Okay, that's one. And then these 3 sheets are, you cut these little cards out, and it's a little booklet that you can put on a book ring and have all of these different stitches. Now, there might be some duplication, but I think they were fun. And so you've got a little bit of a paper project with this. And like I said, I did ask her for her usage of this. And she said by all means and was very excited. So thank you, thank you. Now we have this part. This is a bag. Just a plain old bag, nothing fancy, but, you know, and it's got the label on both sides, which, you know, most of us who go shopping and use bags over and over don't really care what it says, right? Well, my intentions and what's inside of the bag is for you to use the fabric bits and do your own little piecing and make a slow stitch and stitch however you want. I'm just going to place them on here. I'm not going to do this because we just don't want to sit here and watch me stitch all day. I'm not sure my brain would be able to do that today. So you could just put these on however you want. There's a yo-yo, so maybe you want to, you know, after you get some colors on there, let's go ahead and fill it all up so we can kind of go along and see what our plans are. So you just have all this fun stuff. And see, this has threads from this. I think that would be really cool to just leave that on there, right? You know, there's lots of fabric squares and pieces in here. So you got lots of room. You could do both sides. Now, you could easily take a glue stick and tack these down. So this is a more portable thing. If you're, I don't know, sitting in your art area and then all of a sudden you want to go watch TV, it's a little more portable that way. The glue stick's not going to hurt. You've got some fibers. So after you've got these tacked down, and it's up to you how you want to do it. There is, this one has some embroidery floss, and this piece of embroidery floss, several different colors. You can start right away stitching with that. You could tack them down with a couple of stitches with just regular thread, and then decide what you want to do. Or, you know, it's totally up to you. But then let's say you've got this down and maybe you want to kind of couch this on and stitch it in places. And maybe you want to do a, you know, a design or something. And then you've got the 2 yo-yos and you've got, and every kit's different. Some may not have all of the same things and some may have other things. So say we want to put this little button right there. And let's do this button right there. And of course, you got to do 3. So we're going to just add one more button right there, just so that it gets its little cluster. So now you have this little slow stitch collage on there. And I can only imagine what this is going to look like with all the crazy stitches on it, because you can use this as a place to learn some of those new stitches, especially if you've not really embroidered before. But again, like I said, as always, you can use the kit in what works best for you. And you may have other stitching projects that you want to add this to. But regardless, you still get the amazing little printables that give you stitch ideas. You get this super fun little bag of fabric snippets to stitch on. And oh my goodness, there's more than enough. You could probably, now okay, I'm going to offer one more idea, just because I actually did something like this. I had a shirt and it had stains on it. So I took these little patches, and of course I did it by machine, and I stitched wild and crazy, you know, but I covered up the spots. And then to make it look like it was supposed to be that way, I just scattered them. So let's say, and I'm not going to pay attention to colors or placements, but let's say all of this covered right here, okay? We're going to do that real quick. And so we want to just tie this all together. There's no reason we can't spread our little blocks down here, or little pieces, and just kind of just go all over, you know. I think it's going to be kind of fun for those that want to try it that way. But the plus is you will have all these little materials, and you will have the bag that you can work on, and when it's all done, you have the bag to carry all of your slow stitching stuff in, all in one place. So this is one of the kits in the slow stitching. I actually have another one, and let me just put this to the side right now. I'll put it back together later. This one is kind of different too. In this kit, there is a little thing of thread and needles. Now some just have needles because I ran out of the little thread cards. And then there's some buttons in here. There is some trims. That's just some beads. There's at least 3 or 4 colors of embroidery floss. And here's a piece of satin and some different squares of fabrics and lace, a few trims, some more fabrics, some more laces. There is some little doilies and vintage things in here too. Lots of trims. So then there's this piece of quilt batting. And there is 2 pieces of some type of solid material. They vary because I used up some scraps. So we have this, okay? So here's how this one works. I know you're all wondering what this little thing is here, right? Right? I know everybody is. So what I did, and here's how I did it. First of all, how about I show you what it is? This is what it's going to be like. Now this is not perfect. This is kind of messy, and the stitches show up really strongly, and I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do or how I wanted to do it. So it was kind of an experiment, but I've learned by some of my mistakes, and kind of have some tips for you. It is a slow stitch bracelet. It's a slap bracelet. You don't have to worry whether it fits the right size or not. If your arm's bigger, it's still fine. It's going to stay on. If your arm's littler, it's going to overlap more, and it's soft. So you don't have to worry about catching and pinching. So what I did with this one is I took one of my solids and put it on here. Now you might want to take and mark a couple of marks on how wide you want it, because you've all got a slap bracelet to go inside of it. Now, this slap bracelet, you can slice this and take the vinyl off and just have the metal. That's fine. I did not do that, and I do know some of the edges when I stitched it, I caught the vinyl, and it didn't hurt anything. So that's totally however you want to do it. So you know, of course, I've got these bigger than what you really needed them to be. And so then you just take, and again, a glue stick would be really handy to take and do, Let me grab one. So let's just say, maybe I'll grab one that I'm going to find a pencil in this mess here that I call stuff. And let's take my slap bracelet. And I want to make sure that you might want to go a smidgen bigger just because, it can be a little bit bigger than the bracelet. So, whoops. So we have this. And if you want to just kind of lightly sketch it in, maybe you want to use an erasable pencil or chalk or something. Oh, and I didn't go the length. That's crazy. And you don't have to go round edges just because this is around edges. You can square it up. I'm just kind of giving marks so that I know, because, hey, this is fun and everything, but we don't want to do more stitches than we have to and then have to cut them up, right? So let's say we want to put this little piece of upholstery fabric. Of course, I pick a pair of scissors that's not really good for fabric. So let's put this one like right here. Just fits. And then maybe we want to put this one on there. And there's no rhyme or reason to this. I'm just doing it. I'm not too concerned. I'm going to put this right there. Just a dab of glue. And bring this over here. Just a dab of glue. And then maybe I want to put this here because it's got sparkly on it. Maybe it wants to go, like this. And then this is, even though this is the same color, it's a different kind of fabric. So you could do stitches on it, And then maybe I'm not going to go ahead and trim the rest of these, but I'm going to kind of give you an idea. You can place these on here. You can do whatever stitches you want in any way you want to do them. And so maybe let's put a piece of thread on there, cord on there, and you can just lay it around and stitch it on. You could put it through your needle, but you may, more than likely, it would continue to break and tear apart. So maybe you have a piece of lace that you want it to stick up a little bit. So you could kind of ruffle it and put it right there with I know it's going to, oh, it didn't pop right up. That's lucky. So let's get a little button out of there. This goes red because we don't have that in here. Might as well. So we have that on there. And again, you got to envision the stitches in here. Just because, I'm playing with it like this doesn't mean that these are the only ways it'll go. Want that little pink flower to peek out there. So let's kind of put it at an angle. And you would trim these down. And maybe you don't want to trim them down. Maybe you want to just pick it up. And that's exactly what I did on this other one. Is I just started down at one end. And I picked up a piece of fabric. And decided what I wanted where. Cut it to the size I wanted it to be and stitched it down. And then added my next piece. And I just went along with this one. And I have a couple pieces of embroidery stuck in mine off of old doilies, and a piece of beaded something or other. Then this is just a bunch of yarn wadded together and stitched down just to get me my orange. This is a piece of silk ribbon couched on, little doily. And you just pick out what it is, the things you want to put them on, and stitch them down. So once you've got them all stitched down, I'm going to pull this up because it's not going to hurt anything. You might want to go ahead and trim this down. Now, this is where I had my problems and didn't care much for how, I really don't like how this turned out, but when this is on, it's fine. It's just that it really isn't one of my favorite things I've made, but I like it and I will wear it. So you've got this stitched on and you're ready to put it together. And if you notice, I didn't put the backing on. I just did it through this and the quilt batting. The reason is because we're going to encase this in here. And what we're going to do is you're going to have it all done. And there's a couple different things you can do. If you've left enough room to take it to a sewing machine and stitch it up just like you would a pillow, and leave enough to stick this in. And remember, this does curl up, so you gotta kind of think about that. You don't want to make it more work than it has to be. But you could stick this in, or you could leave one whole side open, or you could leave one end, slide it in, and hand stitch it down. That would probably be your easiest way. But if you don't have a sewing machine, just take it. You've got all your pieces on here. And what I would do if this was me is I would take this again and I would mark it on this one so that you know kind of, where it's supposed to be, and kind of lay it up and line it up so that your lines you've drawn here work with what you've done here. Now remember, when you stitch these, some things are going to hang off. And if you've got a piece that is going to stick out a little bit, maybe you don't stitch that down all the way, pull it back, and after the bracelet's put together, finish tacking it on. So maybe another thing you wouldn't mind doing, another way to finish it, is to just put all your fabrics on there. Don't put a whole lot of embellishments, and then encase it, because you can still stitch with the slap bracelet inside. To show you that, let me grab this pair of tweezers here. And that's just so that you can see me pull this. See, nothing is attached to it there. So I could still stitch and it won't come through and your back will still be nice and smooth. Now on this one, I just folded and stitched here and all the way around. I was going for a certain look, didn't like it, so I went with the other direction. So it's kind of crazy and it's different. It's way different. And I like it, and I think it could be the next big thing. Okay, maybe not, but it will definitely be fun. And it's an easy way. You don't have to worry about a clasp. You just stitch and you make your strip. And you know what? If you don't like it, that's okay. Put the backing on it. Leave it flat. Don't make it a bracelet. Make it a bookmark. Make it the spine of your book. And then you still have a bracelet to try it again. You might have to find some different fabric for the backing. But if I just marked my lines on here right smack in the middle. But I would guess that there's, on most of them, there's probably enough to do, okay, yep, I'm losing it. My other bracelet, oh well, I don't know. It's probably right in plain sight and I can't see it. So, if you came down here and did your markings, you could probably get two. And you can always use something different for the back. You don't have to use this. You could use this as your base for your second one. You could make your back all patchwork too, that you're going to cover the back with. I just chose this. I actually left it open thinking I could stuff it from one way. Didn't like that. Didn't work. So it's kind of one of those things just to kind of play with. And basically what you're doing is you're going to cover and encase your slap bracelet. Again, I still can't find the one that goes in this kit, but yeah, I think it's going to be a really fun kit, and I am anxious to see what anybody comes up with these and what their finished projects are. And you're always welcome to share in the Dafi Angels group. And some of these kits. This one here, there's still quite a few of. The other slow stitch kit, there's not that many. So these will be available on our website as soon as I can get the pictures up. And if I can't get them, just drop me a message, send me an email, and I will get some up on the website for those interested. With that, I think we're going to call it, and everyone have a great afternoon and enjoy.